testing resistance at 32 for a while now. False break. Wait, no. RSI's at 30. Tight build up, 30 to 32. No way. Holy shit. It's coming.
Once we get a logo made, I'll add it to the end of that. I thought that was a funny intro.
No, it is a funny intro. I wonder what chart that is, to be honest with you. Is it Game? It's not GameStop, is it?
It might be.
Yeah, I mean, just judging.
It's from the GameStop memes YouTube page.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome to Stock Talk Live. You know, BBBY. Basically tonight, you know, lots going on. So let's just dive in right to it. You know, unless you've been living under a rock lately, it's been all about Bed Bath & Beyond. You know, it's coming back from the dead. All of a sudden yesterday, someone, you know, Cohen has filed something that he intended to sell 9.4 million. Then he actually supposedly did it today. So let's jump into it. Crazy day, huh? So much to go over. So let's jump right in. What do you think about all this at the Post?
Yeah, normally big GameStop talker, I guess, but it is all about Bed Bath & Beyond. They are linked in a way because Ryan Cohen is the chairman of the board at GameStop, and he became an insider of Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know if it was because of his options or if it was because of maybe a share buyback or something that bumped him over that 10%. But he did file 13D to disclose his calls, and then he filed a 144, which is an intent to sell. So this doesn't mean that he had sold, but it was an intent to sell sometime in the next 90 days. And you know, he didn't unload all of his position, but so what that 144 the intent to sell, because he owns so much of the company, he would have to file that every 90 days. You would see that if he held onto the stock for 5 years, you would see it every 90 days. Just gives him the ability to sell. But it's obvious that, and we talked about this before, that he thinks the stock's going up because back in January, February, March, he bought these $60, $75, $80 calls on Bed Bath & Beyond, and they were way out of the money. He bought those when the stock price was at 15. And it appears that he's offloaded a lot of that. Before we get into that part,
I know that was reported. That was reported today. Supposedly he unloaded a ton.
Yes, I think
he's just completely not completely out, but there was. I heard that he unloaded everything. That it was not. He unloaded all 9.4 million shares today.
I don't think so.
I mean, I hope not, because I mean, I'm just scanning the wires now.
No, it's not 9. No,
well, not 9.4, but he unloaded something. What was it? I don't know if I'll be able to get the real numbers, but you know.
Sale of common stock. So I don't think this adds up to 9 million.
No, not at all. No.
And then his calls. And I don't know about the calls, but I know he had several million in those calls. Dated, as it says here, January 2023. So when he bought those, he bought at 15. And he's basically saying, I think the stock price is going to go over $80 by January 2023. And it was just way out of the money. Interesting. But I wanted to get into some CNBC stuff. I put it in the title of this episode. So CNBC given some misleading information, in my opinion. I was up late last night dissecting. So we need to go back to Tuesday first. Here's the first clip where they imply that he sold and not the intent to sell, because they use the phrase "if that's when," and then Karen Feinerman steps in with Melissa Lee, the host, and says she's not sure where he's sold. So let's take a listen.
Lower in the last few hours. It's down 17.25% right now. The stock had been up as much as 45% earlier in the day, but started selling off after a regulatory filing by Ryan Cohen, the GameStop chairman, filing an intent to sell as much as 7.78 million shares of the home goods retailer. Karen has been taking a look at this filing because just yesterday we were talking about him buying way out of the money calls in the stock. And the shares went sharply higher on the back of those purchases.
Yeah, I don't know why that came out yesterday, because that was in the original 13D. So he spent not a lot of money to buy those. And if that's what he started selling, he probably did nicely on that. But so he earned 11.8% of the company. Just looking through his filing, I'm not sure where he sold it, at what price he sold it.
So the chart didn't indicate when he sold, because he's dumping a lot of securities, and the price did go down, but they couldn't tell where he offloaded those, probably because there was such high volume.
No, absolutely. I mean, there was like, what, 300 million shares traded at this at one. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday.
When normally they trade 7.5-ish.
Yeah, I mean,
and their total outstanding shares are like 65 million. So this is trading multiple times over in a day.
Yeah, I mean,
to put that in perspective for some listeners, they're trading 300 million shares of the stock, and only 65 million exists. So is everybody that has a share selling it multiple times, selling, buying? It's very interesting.
No, not at all.
So now in that clip, that woman Karen that comes in at the end, she was skeptical. She's through this whole thing. This was an 8-minute bit, cut it up into several parts. She's the only one that seems to be telling the truth through all this. And the second clip, so they mentioned the 13D, and they're citing that the stock rose because Ryan Cohen bought these call options. He bought these call options in January, February, and March. This is months old information, and they're treating it as if that was the reason that this is these clips are from Tuesday here. They're treating it as if that was the news point. And if you listen carefully in this clip to the guy in the bottom left, he actually says that out loud. Kind of a slip up, in my opinion.
Let me get this straight. The disclosure that he had bought all those call options, which were, January 60, 80, and 75 strike calls, that was made in a 13D that was dated how long ago, as opposed to, because we treated it yesterday.
As if that was the news point.
I'm sorry, Karen, what'd you say?
4 months ago.
4 months ago.
4 months ago.
So somehow it came into circulation yesterday. It moved the stock higher. I mean, regardless of when it actually came out, people were latching onto that idea yesterday, and the stock was up a lot.
Right.
So they're using months old information to explain why the stock went up this week.
Yeah.
And he says we treated it as the news point.
No, I know. CNBC used, and you know this at the Post, CNBC used to be the gold standard. Like the gold standard back in the 90s with Kernan and Faber. I mean, they broke so many stories, and then in 2000s, all of a sudden they just, and gradually they've been more politicized, and more of these types of events have happened, unfortunately, on what was really a great stock network. I mean, and I'm sure they still are. They're the freaking background noise, so a lot of trading floors and whatnot. But
absolutely,
some of the stuff that's just going on with them lately, it's just, you got to be kidding me. I mean, Bear Stearns is, I think, a big moment for them, where they lost a lot of credibility with Kramer. where that stock
Right.
was at 60, and then I think it was 7 days later, they went bankrupt and belly up, and Kramer told everyone to hold on. It was great.
And there was a famous Jim Cramer for the last 2 weeks or so. He's been crying on Twitter saying Bed Bath & Beyond needs to issue more shares, while the price is going up to generate more capital, because they are in a lot of debt.
How much debt are they in? I honestly don't know.
I don't know exactly, but
Yeah.
as we get further into this episode, I don't think debt's going to be a problem for them.
Oh, yeah.
In the short term, at least. Here's another clip. So you were talking about Kramer misleading. It's a longer one. This one's over a minute, but I didn't want to cut it because there's so much stuff that was relevant. This is them trying to frame Ryan Cohen as perpetrating like a pump and dump. And again, that woman, Karen Feinerman, steps in and says she disagrees because it's old news that we're talking about, really.
So here's the deal. In March of this year, okay, so assuming that he was building a position, he launched an activist campaign. He had an agreement with the company. They put 3 of his representatives on the board. The stock shot up. It came back in, and it went as low as $5 after that, okay? So whatever he was investing fundamentally wasn't working, at least in the near term. So the idea that he bought a bunch of calls, knowing at some point he would disclose it, okay, knowing that would maybe get this kind of, I don't know, this sort of activity going in the stock and the options, and then the day later, after the acknowledgement of the options, he unloads it. Listen, if you're a hedge fund, fine, have at it. This is what you're charged with doing, right? Buying things, having them go up, and sell them when they're up. But if you're an activist investor and you're placing people on the board of this company who have a fiduciary responsibility to help the management guide this company to a successful outcome, this doesn't seem appropriate.
Karen, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I don't think that's what he did. I think that information was out there. Why it was all, just so exciting yesterday, even though it was months old, I don't know.
Couldn't say it any better.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but I think though, like, to Karen's probably saying like this, hey, look, this is obviously months old. The information's on the SEC website. Like, you can go find it. It's not, it might be hard for some people, but eventually, if it really needed to come out, and people really, dug deep, yeah, you can find it. Like, it's all public. And Karen's right. I mean, this isn't freaking,
and putting his own guys on the board. I mentioned that weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this isn't new stuff.
No, it's not.
And also he replaced the CEO. Excuse me. I actually wrote replace in my notes and I crossed it out. He removed the CEO. Replace implies that he is the CEO, which I did see a tweet out there. I didn't save it. Is somebody on Twitter was trying to frame it as if he was the CEO, like pumping the stock again. I see Boomer Wells here in the comments. I got on this last week, BBBY. So with this next clip, they say that they feel bad for retail traders because of this pump and dump that they're kind of framing. But if you look at the chart on the 1 week, at least this afternoon, Bed Bath & Beyond was up 60% on the 1 week chart, and on the monthly chart was up over 200%. So I think retail traders are pretty happy. Let's take a listen to them feeling bad for retail traders.
I feel bad for retail traders. Guy, I mean, what a roller coaster this is. I mean, I guess what you're getting into, but still.
Do they know what they're, I think some people know what they're getting, but I think that's exactly right. I mean, that's who winds up getting hurt in all this, I think.
Not really.
No,
chart's green, baby.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you're up 60%.
Same thing with GameStop. People are saying we played Investomania, and the contestant lost all his money because he invested in meme stocks. Well, GameStop's green on the 1 week, green on the 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, 1 year, year to date. So who's laughing?
Oh, I know. I mean, I think a lot of people don't like the meme stocks just because Yeah, because it's momentum. They didn't see this all coming, this phenomenon. And honestly, it's a lot. I think it's probably a lot of jealousy. You know, they missed out. It's that simple.
Well,
And they're the-
it's we can jump ahead because I have
Oh,
something
sorry.
else. I have something else from there, but no, this is good. This is a clip of from today actually, talking about chat rooms. What he's really talking about is Reddit, and the retail traders actually do have the power.
Because you cannot sell or even file to sell if you have material non-public information.
Right. So you'd want to know that. But what about the larger context here, Jim, of, you were talking about this yesterday, of the chat rooms, of coordination, which we've also talked about when this began first, the meme craze itself back in early 21. Right. What about that? And the SEC taking a look at that?
If I were, again, in the enforcement division, I would call in the ringleaders of the chats that tried to goose the stock and break the shorts. But you know what? They could easily say, hey, people come on our air all the time and try to get stocks higher. And that's fine. What's the difference? And they're not trying to drive a stock lower. It's not
Right. I don't know who exactly it was, but I remember from this year, somebody went on CNBC and he was touting some stock, and they asked him what he did, and he pretended to have like technical issues and just turned off his camera. I'm not making this up.
No, I know. I know.
So people go on CNBC, on Fast Money and all this stuff, and they pump their own stocks, and they spread, as we've just showed you, some misinformation to drive stocks down.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's no different than me going on Reddit, which I do every day, and I read Superstonk, and that's where, you know, I pulled up Ryan Cohen's sale of common stock. Where do you think I got that? They got it. They had it right away. It's no different. And there's a good clip of Jim Cramer. We like the stock. We like the stock. It's not brigading, it's not colluding, it's just a bunch of individual people that like the stock, and you're free to invest how you like.
Oh, exactly.
Continuing from Tuesday, so they said they feel bad for retail traders. They said they were spreading some misinformation, framing that pump and dump. Here's them covering their asses, using the phrase smell test.
Trying to tread lightly here. I'm not suggesting, I don't think any of us are suggesting he did anything illegal at all. In my world, it does not pass the smell test. And I'll just throw that out there. I mean, it seems a little bit much for me.
That's on Superstonk, we call it FUD, F-U-D.
Yeah.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what they're spreading.
Oh, I know.
They're trying to shake my paper hands when I've really got diamond hands, and I'm never selling. And hopefully I never have to sell my GameStop shares. I'm hoping that eventually the company becomes very, very successful on this NFT marketplace, and they just start issuing dividends. You can look up, there's a great case of a town in Florida that there's one guy, and he went around and he got everybody to invest in Coca-Cola stock. And you can look it up. It's a town of millionaires. And this whole town, yes, and they lived off the dividends. And it was, if you had put in, I think, $300 and then reinvested the dividends into Coca-Cola stock, you'd have like 8 to 10 million now.
Jesus, that's actually really good.
Off of one share. So I thought it's a cool story. Maybe we can touch on that again. This is the last part of Tuesday's segment, talking about the smell test again, and Karen does not tell the truth about the intent to sell versus actually selling.
So the guy becomes this meme lord because he joins GameStop, right? Becomes the chairman there, and that is the poster child for this thing. Then he goes over to Bed Bath, and that's in March when we see the stock do that, but the stock doesn't work. And then we have this whole Fugazi activity this week. It doesn't pass any smell test.
To Dan's point, I'm curious what will happen the next time we see Ryan Cohen file a 13D. But this one that this 144 that came out today, this says he started selling yesterday.
He said when the stock was up a lot.
After the option information was
Up
leaked.
a lot.
After it was
I mean,
out
can
for a
you
while.
blame him? The stocks, yeah.
So at the time, that was not accurate. Saying that he started selling, he filed the intent to sell. It so happens that it was correct, and he did start selling on the 16th, 2 days ago. So that's not entirely truthful what they're putting out.
No, it's not.
You need to, because he could have waited 90 days and sold.
No, absolutely.
So as it turns out, he sold all these, and some of his stock and options purchases were within a 6-month window, or between when he bought and sold. So it's kind of like a big brain chess move, like a people 4D, 5D chess. He's raising money for the company because he sold it before 6 months. There's limitations in place to prevent short squeezing, like he's doing, really.
Yeah, no.
And so
absolutely.
instead of him realizing the profits, the money goes to the company, Bed Bath & Beyond, which helps them immensely.
No,
So they framed it as he was a malicious actor when really he's working with them. And I thought it was uncharacteristic. They put out 8K, I think, today, saying that they're working with RC Ventures, and they're going to have an announcement by the end of the month. I mean, he's working with them, and I wonder if they're going to sell. I posed this question before. If maybe Bed Bath & Beyond sells Bye Bye Baby to GameStop for GameStop Kids, or GS Kids is the trademark.
No, I mean, Bye Bye Baby is the more, obviously, the more profitable one of the franchise, of the Bed Bath & Beyond franchise, and it would be a shrewd move if they did buy it. I mean, they have a great brand, and they really are going places. And there's definitely room for them to expand if they chose, because I think there's only one. There's not that many in Massachusetts. I think there's like one or two, and then there's one in New Hampshire, and maybe one in Maine, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So don't quote me.
We were talking Jim Cramer. I want to loop this back to GameStop just really quick, and how we're putting out great information on this show for the listeners. Just wanted to. I tried my best. I don't have Photoshop. I'm not artistically gifted. But I saw somebody compare Jim Cramer to Ephialtes from the movie 300. So here's Jim Cramer. This is Ephialtes. Cramer and Ephialtes. So I tried my best. He's got 2 ears there. He's got 2 right ears. So I tried, and just to bring that back around, because Kramer hates GameStop too. We talked about last week. We're on the lookout for the Golden Cross, and we actually got it this week. And I have another clip from Cosmic Lightning Warrior to explain. He's actually reading the definition of the Golden Cross.
Golden Cross is applied to trading both individual securities and market indexes. Some traders opt to use different moving averages, for example, blah, blah, blah. It's a good buy signal. Many investors view the Golden Cross as the holy grail chart pattern. They consider it one of the most definite signs of a bull market and therefore a strong buy signal. What are the 3 stages of a Golden Cross? Golden Cross is when a faster moving average crosses a slower moving average. Sounds simple enough. Specifically, you need a 50-day period and 200 period simple moving averages. Anything other than these 2 periods is not the true Golden Cross. 3 stages. As the downtrend of the market ends, the short-term 50-day moving average moves below the 200-day moving average. In a crossover, when a stock recovers, the short-term moving average crosses over the long-term moving average. That's where the term Golden Cross comes from. The 2 average lines cross on the chart. Stage 1, downtrend. Stage 2, the cross. Stage 3, uptrend. Damn. So, okay. The cross was back here. That looks like February-ish, January, February, all the way to June. So it could take months after the Golden Cross for you to see anything truly actually happen. The last stage, the short-term moving average continues to move upward. That's a signal the stock market's on a bullish trend.
And just really quick before we keep going, this is a clip of our own show from last week.
No, the Golden Cross is one of the most bullish figures that can happen in the market. Bullish indicators, excuse me. Doesn't happen often, to say the least, you know?
Interesting that they have a Golden Cross on Tuesday and then 2 red days in a row. I got the red light on.
I know.
One of the most bullish indicators, and the stock's going down. But
it'll go up again.
It, as he said, it could take months.
It always does. Sometimes it does, but other times it doesn't.
So I thought that was great. We were talking about the Golden Cross last week, and we got it this week. Putting out great information for you here, folks.
Oh, absolutely.
One more thing on Bed Bath & Beyond linking in GameStop here with Ryan Cohen. I have Jim Cramer here actually calling for a subpoena on Ryan Cohen.
The company comes out and says that they are working expeditiously to strengthen the balance sheet. You can either strengthen it with debt, which would be foolhardy because they already have a lot of debt,
they don't have
or
a lot of
strengthen
cash
it with
flow.
equity and strengthen it with equity by
taking advantage of this
right
surprising surge.
So let's go back to the SEC. Now, I'm going to be very careful about this, but I would ask them to cooperate with an inquiry to find out how this all happened and Ryan Cohen's involvement. If they are at all forthcoming, then I would issue a subpoena to Ryan Cohen saying I want all documents between you and the 3 members on the board that you put on, and I want to know if you have any material non-public information about how the company's doing. Perhaps he doesn't. I find that would be highly unusual given the fact he put 3 people on the board.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So 2 things on that. One, he says you can raise money by debt or equity. But there's actually a third option, which is Ryan Cohen selling those securities early and those profits going right to the company instead of in his pockets.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
and the other thing, Kramer also says, I'm going to be very careful here. That links back to the clips we played before of, well, I'm not saying, you know, they're trying to be very careful about how they frame things so they don't get in trouble because he's a billionaire and he will smash you in court.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, so I'd love to report great news on the economy and the world is doing great and whatnot, but fortunately, you know, many things we've talked about coming to light. First major staggering thing is what we've talked about, and I guess this show is probably going to take a little bit of a victory lap. We told you that, you know, the European electricity and all that is going to go up. Okay. So we got a July bill of last year from an Italian business that was 119,000 euros. This year, it's 960,000 euros. That's an increase of probably like 700%. That's exactly, and you know, really personifies what we've been saying this whole time, right here. You know, what's 400? He's speaking in Italian, so I don't know if but it's 468%, guys.
And we joked before about how people in Europe are going to be burning furniture.
Yeah,
come wintertime.
Yeah,
stay warm.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and when we talk about recession and we throw that out, and you guys are probably sick of hearing, this is what we're talking about. This guy has literally, you know, 468% increase. That's $3,900. He can't invest in his own company. He can't. He's got to pay up for the power. He can't buy goods. He can't buy services.
The same period consuming less.
Yeah,
it costs him more to consume less.
Yeah,
over 4 times more.
No, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Like, you know, I'm not just like going down to the track and, you know, talking to, you know, freaking some moron and getting this information, you know. I mean, well, you know, Suffolk's closed and I don't go to Plainridge, so I'm not driving out to Saratoga with a freaking 9-month-old, so whatever. But this is what we're talking about. You want another example? Fine. We're talking
By the
about
way,
the
if you want to go to Saratoga, let me know. It's not really that far.
I love Saratoga. I've made plenty of bad investments at that place. My God. Well, that's another story for another time. Anyway, another thing we're talking about. A lot of people talk about. We mentioned firewood. How Germany's people are stockpiling firewood. I forget the country off the top of my head, but they are now banning all exports of firewood. That's a real issue because the natural gas is not there. And I think a lot of people want to sit here and be like,
Bulgaria.
It's like, Bulgaria, they're banning firewood. So, these are real issues, and this is going to affect them economically. If you want to talk about another headlines in Europe, I believe it's a zinc factory and a aluminum plant right now are ceasing operations due to the cost of electricity. That's obviously not good. I think that everything is starting to come to roost here. And unfortunately, we're just starting. We're literally just starting. What we mentioned in the financial chat message, either hit the post or I, and we'll gladly add you to it, is inflation in Great Britain right now. I think they were up 12.4%, and that's real. And they're having electricity spike as well. And a lot of these problems aren't going away. And as much as people want to say like, you're off in fantasy land or it's not real. I mean, no, it is real. If you're a business owner, 3,900 euros are coming out of your pocket and you can't spend it on capital, that's not going to help your economy. And you are going to go into a pretty bad recession, and on the domestic front, like what has happened this week, the New York Empire Index, I think it was Tuesday, that plummeted. That was awful. It was negative. It was like the biggest negative print on record. It was negative like 26. And that, that's not a sign of economic growth. And another sign, we'll take another victory lap on this. We've been talking about the housing market, about how it's going to start to go down. You're starting to see home sales now go down big time. Look at the existing numbers today were horrific. I mean, even they came out and said it was a housing recession.
There was some survey or study that said like 81% of Gen Z wants a housing crash.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like I'm 32. I don't say like I want a housing crash, but I mean, home prices are way too high for me to buy a home. So it would help.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think values eventually, in the Northeast, especially with being in Massachusetts, I think eventually they have to come down. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be next month or next year, but next month, next year. But yeah, next year is probably a good start. It's going to take some time. The other thing is the Fed came out today on Bullard. I botched his name, so hey guys, I'm sorry about that. I see you in person, I'll buy you a drink. Yeah, he came out 0.75, baby. You heard it here first on Stock Talk. That was my prediction. I hope, obviously I want to be right because I want to, my own personal thing, but I think we're coming to another 0.75% rate hike. And we're probably going to be just seeing, the effects of the first rate hike around when that happens, and in September, and we'll see even more in October and November the effects of the rate hikes.
I have a question. Maybe you don't know this. This account here on Twitter, Zero Hedge, is this the one that's the bot, or is that FX Hedge?
I think that's FX Hedge. And then
there's a bot that literally just tweets out Bloomberg
Zero
tickers.
Hedge. Yeah, I don't think that's the bot, but I'm not 100% sure. If you click on it, let's check. I mean, hey, it's got 1.4 million followers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
I think that's FX Hedge.
Yeah. I mean, I read Zero Hedge every day. I mean, it's like a Bible. Even on my days off, maybe I should get a life and read. I don't know. Figure out who's going to win at Saratoga. Sure the viewers have plenty of comments on that. The other, all this stuff is real. I mean, with inflation in Great Britain, I mean, it's not getting any better. And I wish it would, quite honestly. But you have to report the truth, and you can't really look through it through rose-colored glasses. And quick
Zero.
note. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Zero Hedge is a good one to read. I like Unusual Whales. They're very active on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's got to have a team. He's got a site and everything. I don't pay for it, but a lot of people are posting, a lot of options winnings with them. But I like it just for the news that they put out.
Oh yeah, I haven't actually read much of that. I should. I need to
I don't read too much, but he puts out a lot of really good studies, and he's just really good with updates and stuff like that. So it's a good Twitter account to follow for news.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess finally, we talk about GDP, the real GDP now from Atlanta. It started so the third quarter supposedly. I'm gonna put supposedly in really big quotes. Whoever made this number up probably had a few beers, a few Maker's Marks, and I don't know, maybe drove their car into Lynn's Variety in Weymouth today. Supposedly we're going to grow 2.5% next quarter, in spite of, 1.5% interest rate hikes and whatnot. That number's already down to 1.7, and that was before the housing data came out. So I think that number is going to be negative probably by September, call it 15th. I'm not going to call that because it's, probably a lot of fudge numbers, but I don't think, the fact that I don't think we're going to grow at all in the third quarter. I think people need to maybe in Atlanta need to get with reality a little bit.
That's a big thing in the super stonk community is no dates.
Oh really?
We don't do dates.
Oh, all right.
Well, there's one. The joke today was Bed Bath & Beyond said they're going to have an announcement by the end of the month, and somebody said, August 31st? That's on my calendar. Bullish.
Oh, I know.
August 31st? There it is. I know I'm bringing this back to Bed Bath & Beyond. There's a couple other things that I missed here and in my notes. Bed Bath & Beyond and GameStop. So I didn't talk about this last week, but we can still, if we don't catch it today, we're going to miss it. Trying to educate our listeners. OPEX is tomorrow. What's OPEX? Options expiry. So of course that's the weekly options, right? That expire every Friday. But this is also the quarterly. So this is historically a very, very bullish day for GameStop. And then on the 24th, we can track. Hang on, I actually have it. When is it? Because there's specific dates that we can track back to last year and to 2020 and in prior years even too that are historically bullish days for GameStop, and they all happen after options expiry. Now let me see where this is. Because I know I told my friends about it in our Discord. Here we go. Wednesday, August 24th is predicted to be a huge green day. There's a guy that I've plugged. He's got a channel here on YouTube, Richard Newton, and he does a daily GameStop video. He's a math teacher, very good at explaining things. So I like watching his videos every day. And he found that this August 24th trends with this year as well as last year, previous years, February 24th, May 24th, August 24th, and then November 22nd, due to holidays, are all historically green days for GameStop. Interesting to see. Another thing I had from my notes that I saw on Superstock, and I wanted to clear this up for some people that might not realize this. There's a lot of poo-pooing on the internet about Bed Bath & Beyond closed at an even dollar amount one day this week is like $28.00. And people are saying, well, look at the manipulation. It ended on an even dollar amount. And really, we need to dispel that. It's a fallacy that we know that these stocks are manipulated, but that's not the indicator. So stocks that are more volatile, it just makes sense. They're more likely to land on an even number. It really doesn't mean anything. I had one other thing. Well, let me play my GameStop hype video that I found.
I mean, what's going on in GameStop right now conceivably could take a couple of firms out, hedge funds.
We have come dangerously close to the collapse of the entire system.
So that guy saying we've come dangerously close to the collapse of the entire system, that's the founder and CEO of Interactive Brokers. And he said that ComputerShare is quote bullshit. He said that on CNBC. I want to tell people I've been talking about ComputerShare for a while. I folded it so that I don't have to worry about hiding my information. This is a letter that I got in the mail after I directly registered 5 more shares from Fidelity into ComputerShare. And you can see on this, it actually says DTC stock withdrawals. So this is it. Here's my DRS advice from July. It says DTC stock withdrawals. So that means that those shares actually came out of the DTC and they're now in ComputerShare in my name, not in my broker's name. What's important about that is, you sign up for a broker, right? You sign up for all kinds of stuff. These terms and terms of agreement, terms of service. Nobody reads it, but you have to know that if you have a $0 balance in your account for long enough, they can close your account if they want. And if you have fees on your account, they can sell a share to cover it. They should. I mentioned this before. They should call you, but they're not obligated to. They can. It happened to my buddy. Instead of selling one of the $5 stocks that he had to cover, a couple bucks in fees that he was over, they sold a GameStop share for like $130. And they can just do it because it's not in your name, it's in their name. You're just borrowing it. We talked about that last week.
Absolutely.
The last clip that I wanted to play, this is from CNBC, I believe Wednesday, and the guy actually talks about naked calls, Robbie.
Yeah, and I mean, we can sit here all day long and we can talk about what the fundamentals are, but that's what we're going to do is look at the technicals of the company, but that's not what this is trading on. That's not what the meme stocks have done. And I think we've all seen over the last year, you can't necessarily bet against these retail traders. They clearly have a lot more power and they're realizing that. So no, for the fundamentals, it's not something I'm looking at, but it's not to say it can't happen.
Mike, would you be inclined at this point to put on a bearish options trade on Bed Bath, or is that just waters too treacherous to tread in?
Yeah, so a bearish bet, if it meant selling some upside call spreads or something like that, trying to collect some of this highly elevated premium in the event that the effort to squeeze it doesn't work out, that might make sense. Shorting the stock, absolutely not. Selling naked calls, absolutely not. And buying puts, probably not either because they're just too pricey.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's like, take a fucking position. No, I mean, seriously, hey, look, you can say what you want. I mean, we're not CNBC here, but at least you freaking stand. Honestly. Right. No, seriously, and hey, look, if I'm wrong on the September 0.75, you guys can, in the chat, you can blow it up, you can tell me, and I'm wrong. And it's fine, it is what it is, I mean, it's just take a freaking position. Don't get on there and be like, the water's too treacherous. Hey, the water's treacherous every day. Especially
so far we've done really well on this show, actually.
Yeah, I know.
It was before the show started, but Boner Jams gave out PNE, and they're flying, issuing another dividend. I gave out GameStop. You could have had GameStop after I initially gave it out. You could have got one share pre-split for $120. So that's a $30 cost basis after it splits into 4, and it was trading over 45 this week. So I mean, you could have made a nice chunk. Gave out Bed Bath & Beyond. We've been talking about it. Up 60+% on the 1 week. Up at one point, it was up over 300% on the 1 month chart.
Yeah. No, I mean,
we're doing just fine right here.
No, definitely. And just to put it in perspective about the European energy prices, and then I'm just going to cut it after that. Germany right now is paying $650 this is for the forward futures for electricity. Germany's now hit an all-time high of 650 euros for a megawatt. France is trading at 400. So it's real. Bloomberg charts are there. You can look them up online. And, that's going to be a freaking damn real issue, and that's really the end of it. And I can't exactly see the Eurozone, especially, with the shutdown of factories and whatnot and the rationing energy really expanding their economy. They're going to be in a recession probably by December. You heard it here first. It's not a bold call, but it needs to be said, In Great Britain with the 12-point, whatever it was, the 12-point something CPI this week, they're getting shellacked over there. They're another economy that's going to have problems, And this stuff, unfortunately, is not going away. Nord Stream 2 isn't going to get magic fairy dust and, run at 100% capacity, unfortunately, in the next, 4 or 5 months. It's just not going to happen. Domestically, oil's starting to go. Oil made a run today. I think it was up $2, and gas is starting to creep up a little bit, even though it's going down at the pump. I don't really know where that's going to go domestically. For our viewers who have natural gas and to heat their homes, United States natural gas is at an all-time high today at $9. I don't know the symbol off the top of my head. I'm not even going to try to pull a bone.
Natural gas.
Yeah, what is it? I know what it is, but like whatever they call it, like cubic feet or cubic whatever. I just, there are certain things I could fake in life. That's not one of them. It's like BTU or something. I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's like BTU or, hey, you can't know it all.
Right. And that's my point is, I get chirped a little bit. Oh, it talks about GameStop. I like having one investment and knowing a lot about it. Say that. And I know a lot about Ryan Cohen and I've followed, I knew about his Bed Bath & Beyond calls. It's just not the play for me. I like GameStop and I'm going to stick with that. But some people did buy into Bed Bath & Beyond. And I know a lot of people are turning those winnings into more GameStop shares and directly registering them. There's a site. Let's actually go to it.
I think a lot of people hit the poster, taking their GameStop profits and maybe betting on oil ETFs. There's big movement today.
There's not. I don't think a lot of people are.
They're just going to another meme stock. You never know.
So there's this website, and I like I mentioned, I showed you my DRS advice that I got in the mail. This is a website called computershared.net. And they have a bot on Reddit. And when you directly register your shares, you can take a screenshot and issue a command to the bot, and it will update a tracker. And so this is a pie chart here. It shows how much institutions own. Yeah. We know how much represents mutual funds. We know how much represents ETFs. We know how many shares the insiders hold. And then this purple represents ComputerShare, directly registered shares. I said Ryan Cohen tweeted out that purple heart a couple weeks ago, and that was significant because on ComputerShare, when you directly register, your shares are represented as a purple circle. So this updates almost daily, not every day, but you can see this is 54.859% of the outstanding shares have been directly registered. And as that creeps up to where we know that there's no more available shares, eventually we're going to start directly registering the synthetics. And that's when things are really going to pop off. I'm only bringing this up because as the price goes down, this is the problem for hedge funds and people who are betting against GameStop. As the price goes down, DRS goes up. It becomes easier to directly register your shares. And I'm bringing this up because 54.859 earlier in this week, it was 53%. So it's almost a 1% per day jump, which is, I talked about a rabid fan base, man.
No, I know. I mean, they got it. I mean, just look at the Rise of the Players movie. I mean, yeah.
Price prediction for BBBY tomorrow. What's that right now?
I don't know, man.
And are we looking for a closing price?
Yeah, I don't know. Man.
I'm an idiot. Let me just pull it up on the screen.
Yeah. No. I mean, options, all that stuff going on tomorrow. It's tough, you know. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, dude.
Oh, they really tanked it today, huh?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I think the news got out close to the close, and then after hours. Jesus Christ. That's, yeah.
That off
not
there.
good.
So it was at 27 back in March. How do I? Oh, here we go. Was up to 27 today. It's currently at 1027 after market.
I think
after hours.
I think that's obviously some
price for Bed Bath & Beyond tomorrow. I'm going to say $864 closing. 4 o'clock, not this after hours where retail sells off.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to react to the news, man. Whether it's right or not, you know.
$864 Bed Bath & Beyond closing price, August 19th.
No, I mean, they're going to have I'll put it to you this way. They're going to have a rough day tomorrow. Because of the news and, you know, people are going to have a rough day. That's really all I'm at liberty to say.
You have to consider, you know, it costs a lot of money to short the stock down and to maintain that.
Oh yeah.
And again, the cheaper it gets, the more people are buying.
No, absolutely.
I think the pandemic kind of taught people to buy the dip.
No, it definitely did. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I think you can honestly agree with this. If you want to own one of these, the AMCs, the GMEs, or whatever, you got to have a stomach of steel. How about that?
Diamond hands, baby.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. You can't really, you got to take your hits, and you know.
And for people who don't really get that diamond hands, paper hands, think about it this way: if your hands were made of paper and you run them underwater, they will crumble. If your hands are made of diamonds have little geology for you, a hardness of 10. So diamond hands means you're holding through thick and thin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, it's gonna be something.
I mean, anybody that rode GameStop up to 300 plus with me and held on when they crashed it down to 40 right after when they turned off the buy button, you know what diamond hands means.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And it's about to get spicy, folks. Like I said, OpEx tomorrow, and Bed Bath & Beyond's going to make an announcement later this month, by the end of the month. You know, Ryan Cohen selling off his Bed Bath & Beyond shares. I'd say that's bullish for GameStop. That means he's not selling his GameStop stuff.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not. I think
he can actually still buy more GameStop.
Well, yeah, now that he has the cash, yeah.
Well, no, he's allowed to. He has a limitation on how much he can actually own, I think.
Oh, really?
He hasn't hit that limitation yet.
Oh, that's good.
I don't have specifics on that.
I think what was it? I think next week. I forget what. I can't remember the economic reports that are coming out, but I'll tell you, I don't think they're going to be good. But I mean, Yeah, I don't.
Oh, you mentioned AMC in this meme stock basket. So I mentioned, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, how Kramer said that he liked, I think it was last week. Kramer said he liked Bed Bath and Beyond more than AMC and GameStop.
Yeah.
And GameStop and AMC had a very sharp trough, while Bed Bath and Beyond had an inverse spike at the exact same time. And with Bed Bath and Beyond being halted Monday or Tuesday this week on the way up, there's a direct link to GameStop that these meme stocks, like I've been saying for a while now, they're trading in the same basket. And the suspicion is that hedge funds are using swaps. Like these are all in the same swap basket. So I'll let you borrow this if you let me borrow GameStop and Bed Bath and Beyond that you own.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now. You know,
and back to my original point, AMC news. I'm not in AMC. I don't believe in it. I'm not a big movie guy.
I know.
I believe in video games are going to be huge. I believe the NFT marketplace is going to be huge. In my heart of hearts, I think that a blockchain stock exchange will exist at some point. Whether the GameStop NFT marketplace is it, I don't know. But AMC, I believe today was the cutoff. If you owned AMC by the end of trading today, then you will get one ape. It's not a coin, it's a preferred equity.
Yeah.
So they're issuing one ape, and it will be available for trading, at least on Robinhood. I can confirm. I don't trade on Robinhood. I just use it because you can log in with a PIN, and it's a good interface. That's all I'll say about it.
Yeah.
So at least on Robinhood, you will be able to trade ape, but they're going to issue one ape for every AMC. And the theory with movie stock or sticky floor crowd is because it's so short sold that there's more shares in existence, really, because of synthetics than have been issued. And what's going to happen to these people that are holding fake shares? They're not going to get their ape, and then when the shorts come to get that ape security to give to the people, they're not going to be able to buy it. And the sentiment is they'll be able to set their own price.
No, absolutely. One thing
I don't think that's as good of a play as GameStop.
One thing we didn't talk about was we have a little time. The Fed.
Are you going to say it?
What?
Because I had one more on my list.
Oh no, I was thinking the Federal Reserve. How they were saying
that wasn't it. Keep going.
No, the Federal Reserve wasn't. They weren't going to give us forward guidance, and all of a sudden it's in the minutes they released, and all of a sudden they're like, well, hey, we're going to have to keep raising interest rates. It's like, well, what happened to the freaking press conference where you said you weren't going to give any forward guidance in the minutes? Or forward guidance at all, and then it leaks out today that obviously Beauregard, hey, look, I know we're bumping up against it, but the Fed is in a rock and a hard place. We keep saying it, and all of a sudden, especially with the low, the CPI supposedly going down a little bit, and the economy not doing too hot, but they still need to lower inflation. They're in a rock and a hard place, and I'll be honest with you, they have no choice but to, as I said it before, do a 0.75 in September, and I'll even go a little bit further. I don't remember when the next Fed meeting is after September, but they probably might have to do a 0.75 or at least a 0.50. But I'll make that prediction when the time comes. One thing at a time here, folks.
So the other thing that it wasn't even in my notes, but I just remembered. Elon Musk joked about buying Manchester United.
I know. Manchester United stock spiked up on that.
So I'm about learning here. We're all going to make it. I'm not trying to lose anybody money. I'm trying to make everybody money. I didn't know that Manchester United was a publicly traded company. So
I didn't either.
Learning something all the time here. And I had previously mentioned Unusual Whales. they looked at the options flow, and like a couple days before he joked about that, somebody bought like an uncharacteristic amount of call options on Manchester United. So that was
I want to know something
fishy, unusual indeed.
Yeah, no.
That's about all I had. We just hit an hour.
Yeah, that's really all I have. A lot's going on. We didn't talk about the farmers. I don't want you to think that we're not, monitoring it, but it's really just the same situation. There's a lot of protests, and there's a lot of the same stuff that was going on from last week to this week. And with all these new events happening, we don't want to bore you guys. So, but
it's about to get spicy. Just one last thing. I didn't note that Golden Cross that we talked about. The last time GameStop had a Golden Cross, I misspoke last episode. I said it was in August. It was actually in September 2020. And what's interesting about GameStop having a Golden Cross this week was SPY had a Death Cross, which is the opposite. That was on March 14th.
Oh, really? It's not good. Well,
some stuff to consider heading into the weekend. OpEx tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, there's stuff coming out that's saying that the S&P did the same thing in 2008. There's a lot of people saying that. I mean, I hope to God it doesn't happen, but history has a habit of repeating itself, and it might not be due to might not be due strictly to housing this time. I mean, you have to donate a kidney to freaking heat your home. It's not a good thing. And on that note,
yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up here. Yeah. I know it was a lot of clips here, folks. Some of them over a minute, some of them, pretty long. But I think it's important to look at those CNBC panelists and dissect what they're saying, and really, it just goes to show that you can't believe everything that they're saying, because I mean they're treating month-old information as if it just happened. Stock's up today. Oh, it's because he bought these calls. Like, no, it's not.
No, exactly.
So it's important to look at that stuff. I have a new outro today. I'm hoping that maybe this could be our theme song, and I could maybe make a new video. I didn't make this video. I found it, but maybe we could make a new video using this song every time. Just a fun one. We'll see you next time. Stock Talk Live. Pump it up, baby.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?